Into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. Landon Schmidt producing. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 2.5 hours. A little bit of a shorter show this afternoon as we have a big one tonight. Ole Miss baseball. As you know, we're the home of the Ole Miss Rebels. We carry all of their football, basketball, baseball games. Tonight, they are here in town to play the Memphis Tigers. Scheduled for 6 o'clock, so we will have pregame starting at 5:30 with that first pitch at 6 o'clock. So we will have that coverage for you starting at 5:30. We'll be out of here a little bit early, but plenty to discuss today. It will be a lot of basketball still, but a ton to discuss over the next 2.5 hours. The Grizzlies, they were in action last night against Atlanta. It wasn't much of a game. It was kind of over really by the time it started. All Atlanta last night. Some other interesting games in the NBA as well. So plenty to discuss over these next 2.5 hours. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well. You got your Tiger gear on? Are you headed to FedEx Park for Avram Fogelman Field tonight?
No, I wish. I'm not going to make it. No, I just needed. It was a little chilly. It was a little chilly this morning. It was one of those where
yeah.
I knew it was going to get warmer as the day went on, but I just needed something to kind of keep me warm this morning when it was a little cool. So a little light jacket for the day, and
thought you might go. I know you love baseball. It will be a big crowd.
Yeah.
And it will be played on the South Campus where the Tigers play their home games. You know, this game a lot of years was played at AutoZone Park, but a hole in the tarp and a lot of consternation ended that with Mike Bianco and the University of Memphis felt the same way.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I know, I think it was when Carrick Jackson was here was when they made that move from playing it at AutoZone Park to on campus, and he kind of said that he was in favor of moving it and kind of would rather play it at their home ballpark, just kind of have a little bit more of a home field advantage and playing on the field that they're way more comfortable with. Obviously, the bigger venue at AutoZone Park, it can get more people in there, can seat more.
But it made it very pro Ole Miss.
Sure, it definitely did. And so when you're the Tigers, when you've got a now beautiful field that you play all your home games at, I think makes all the sense in the world. I went last year. I don't remember. I might have been the Mississippi State game I went to last year, and a phenomenal crowd. I mean, so much so that I had to, and this was before, now they're doing all the renovation over with the soccer field, had to go over to the soccer field, go up the bleachers, and stand on the top bleacher to where I could see over the dugout because there were just too many people there, and you couldn't really get a good spot to even stand to see the field. So,
but the hole in the tarp in Lake AutoZone Park at second base was the end of the deal.
Yeah, no, that was big. But I do like it at their campus and at their home field. So it should be a lot of fun tonight. And
I'm kind of anti-neutrals in everything. Anyway,
yeah,
except bowl season and NCAA tournament. You know the conference tournament.
I like a good Thanksgiving feast week. Neutral site tournament. But
me too. But by and large, I want these games to be played.
Yeah.
What I love so much about. Didn't like the outcome at Yum Center with Louisville, but like them returning next year to FedEx Forum. Now, one of those games in the future is in Nashville, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, however, I don't remember exactly how many games they signed up for.
If that's what it took to prime the pump, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think maybe, I don't have it in front of me, maybe like a 5-year deal and kind of 2 and 1, somewhere in Nashville or somewhere, just to kind of to throw that in there to sweeten the pot. But yeah, I mean, I think, and you're starting to see it more and more. I feel and I hope you're seeing more and more, home and aways rather than the neutral site games. So hopefully we see more of that. But yeah, should be a lot of fun tonight between the Rebels and the Tigers.
Look, the outcome last night spoke for itself with the Grizzlies in Atlanta, and we're in a tough patch. We just have to weather it through. Because right now we want losses. We want more ping pong ball opportunities and potentially one and what could be dealt around that. But last night showed something. We talk about it. We usually talk about it kind of before the season, right on the beginning of the season and the TV broadcast, and we talk about our crew with the Grizzlies TV, and our crew. I think. Running the point is not the point guard. Running the point is our friend Rob Fisher with the pregame and halftime and postgame and sideline hits. Then in game with Pete Pranica and Brevin Knight, a great point guard, Brevin Knight. and at home with Chris Vernon as part of the crew for the home games at FedEx Forum. And they deliver for us, and they are delivering, and they did that game last night. You would never know what kind of year this was, been, and getting ready to end. And that game last night, that's not easy to do. I know people sitting at home, and the hard thing, the thing you got to really watch is you don't want to jump in on the pile. You don't want to kick that brand, that team when they're down. And I texted Rob a little bit ago. You would have never known it was that kind of year. Listen to that broadcast from all those, and then at home the same thing with Chris, part of the broadcast team. That speaks to them. That speaks to their professionalism, and it speaks to why they are so beloved by this marketplace. Yeah,
it's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because it really has been tough, and it's tough for those guys because as much as we talk about tanking and kind of this process of going out there and
I crack on it too much.
Sure, but it's one of those things where we can go at it that way and talk about the tanking and lose. But they're living it. They're going through it night in, night out. They want to see that team go out there and win. That makes we talk about winning
the playoffs a year ago.
Sure, I mean
not that far removed from 50-win seasons.
No, absolutely not. And so it certainly makes their job easier when it's a competitive product on the floor and when they're winning games. And so this season it's not easy at all. And you're right. I mean, watching them, they continue to make it entertaining. They continue to make you want to watch these games because you're entertained by just what they're doing and the conversations they're having.
Informed about
exactly, and especially with a lot of these different faces. I mean, you're learning a lot about these guys that it just feels like one day somebody shows up and you're going, who's this guy out here? And they're telling you about
number 77.
Exactly. So they do a tremendous job, and a really
they do.
Tough
We're
season.
lucky.
We're lucky, and I hope we get lucky and they can have a really really fun player to talk about next year.
And for that reason, for them, and for the great fans that have bought and gone and spent and fallen in love and been hurt, I swear, one of these sweet days for everybody involved, it'll make that first trip to the NBA Finals even more special and more. And you'll go, remember 25, 26?
Oh, yeah.
And I lived it. I sent to a lot of my friends around the college football playoff home game in Oxford against Tulane, and I went through kind of the blast from the past, some of the not so fun days, and I said we had to go through all that to get to here, and you do, and it's when you get to there, and that's why I don't like too many people telling me, well, act like you've been there before. No, I'm going to act like I want to act.
Sure.
Because I'm the one that had to go through the pitfalls.
Yeah, no, it's a long road, and certainly the Grizzlies are going through that right now. Last night,
only Tiger Woods wins all the time.
Well, and he's back out there tonight. We'll get to that at some point. Are you
bad back and all?
Yeah, you gonna the Tiger Woods playing? Get
I'm
you
not
to tune
watch.
in to TGL? Oh, it's a shame. That is a shame. I thought I would try at least to
Video
get
golf.
you interested. No, it certainly is. But the finals tonight could have 2 games. Oh yeah,
go down.
Yeah, it's you got to the Jupiter Lynx. That's Tiger's team. They got to win the first game tonight to force a second game.
You don't think Tiger's hinging any idea on playing in 2 weeks in Augusta on tonight, do you?
There's no way.
You think Fred Couples, man, did you see him 2 weeks ago, man?
Oh, man.
Playing the simulator. He was great here.
You seen him at TGL, or you did see him at TGL.
I wonder if Tiger's had any trips to Augusta National in the last few weeks. I wonder if he's gone and played.
I don't know.
That's usually when we get all of him. If you'd have been here 2 weeks ago.
Oh, he was dialed in.
He'd have been keeping a real score. I mean, he'd shot 63.
Yeah, no, every year you'd get a couple of stories like that. But last night was very close to being a great night for the Grizzlies in their tank attempts because they lost. The Magic lost. Now we're keeping a very close eye on this Magic team because they are in real trouble. They have really struggled as of late. And then Dallas almost won against the Warriors. They forced that game into overtime. And then in OT, the Warriors really dominated most of the game, but dominated overtime to get that win. So you almost had a 3-for-3 night for the Grizzlies, but those darn Warriors.
This Orlando Magic angle It's kind of popped up to me.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that real.
Yeah, well, it was weird because, going into the season, it was the pick was going to be between Orlando and Phoenix, the worst, or I guess best for the Grizzlies, first round pick between those two teams. And going into the season, everyone thought it was going to be Phoenix because Orlando made the move for Desmond Bane, and they had all these pieces, and everyone thought they were just going to be great going into the season, and they started the season extremely well. So did Phoenix, and everyone was kind of saying, oh man, you're going to get a pick, but it's probably going to be in the late teens, maybe around 20 or so. And now Orlando is just in a free fall right now, and moving for them in the wrong direction, for the Grizzlies in the right direction. And so we'll keep a really close eye on them. 5 straight losses for the Magic. That pick could very well end up being a lottery pick. That would be the Grizzlies, which would be great.
The Bulls won last night, and
Yeah.
I'm keeping an eye on Billy Donovan
Yeah, Billy Donovan
for some of the potential college basketball jobs that could happen.
Yeah, he's going to be an interesting name, and you're seeing more and more around the idea of him leaving the Bulls. I know there was a report earlier today. There's growing momentum that Billy Donovan could step away from the Bulls after the season.
What if he and Shira swap jobs?
Wow, that would be. I'd have to be a Bulls fan then, which
Yeah.
which would be very strange. But Kevin Sweeney, who joins us, he'll join us tomorrow. Joins us on Wednesdays. He tweeted this out earlier. Said Billy Donovan would be the best coach in college basketball tomorrow if he returned to college, and I do not think he'd even consider returning without a pretty significant front office type structure in place to help him navigate the recruiting side. I mean, if I'm one of these big time programs, I do whatever he asks to make it as good as possible.
Kevin's on top of it though, but think, and I know Kevin has thought this more through than I've come close to thinking it through. But for Billy Donovan, he's stepping into a college basketball world that's unrecognizable to the one that he left.
That's exactly right. And I don't know if that's what he wants to be a part of or doesn't want to be a part of. I mean, I really never know with a lot of these coaches. Obviously we're seeing a lot of coaches that have been around the game for such a long time kind of say, I'm not a huge fan of this. I don't want to be a part of this, but obviously we're moving in more of a professional sense of the sport, and maybe he would like that, but obviously in the NBA it's less of kind of handling that. I think that's where Kevin was coming from with that kind of front office being handled by the university. Hey, give me somebody that's going to run it like the NBA. They're going to worry about the roster. I'm going to go out there and coach.
And
I'll
only a few
help
places
here and
can
there.
do that.
That's right. And we obviously talked about it a lot with Memphis and kind of what that general manager position would look like and how it's, completely different. I don't even really like that it's called general manager because it's just, we all think of professional sports and that general manager role. It's nothing like that. I mean, this is somebody that reports directly to the head coach in most places.
Director of basketball.
Exactly. And it's just kind of your primary focus is recruiting and helping out.
We need a better title for it. We really do.
I hate the general manager title.
That's a great point.
Yeah, it's not good because everyone starts thinking about NBA, NFL general managers, and it's just very different. But it's going to be interesting, and it feels like at any moment we'll get some news revolving around North Carolina and the decision they make. That would obviously be a job to keep an eye on if that comes open.
They almost never go outside the family.
No, but I mean, what? At some point,
when was the last time they did? What, Dean Smith?
Yeah, I mean,
that kind of worked.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, I think you gotta try something different.
They've left Hubert Davis out there to twist, haven't they?
They have, and
I don't know that he deserved that, did he?
No, definitely not. And I've heard some people say there's no way he can bring him. They can bring him back after all of this.
No, they've humiliated.
They have, and so I don't know what's taking so long. I don't know why we haven't gotten an answer one way or the other, but. It feels like they need to move fast. Maybe they have their eyes on somebody and are kind of waiting for some dominoes to fall.
Well, if it's Todd Golden, he's not coaching any longer.
No, exactly.
Or the season's over. He's still coaching in Florida, but the season's over.
Maybe it's not him. It's somebody else that's still coaching. Or maybe it's something like this with an NBA guy that might be interested in coming back to college. Obviously, you can't wait till the end of the NBA season, but I really don't know where North Carolina is going to go from here.
Bryant, tomorrow at 4:30, and I have started through. I can show you my crossouts.
Okay. All right.
They are already replete.
Okay.
We're going to, me and you and Landon are going to rank our Sweet 16 coaches, the 16 coaches remaining, 1 through 16.
Okay.
And here's the mission statement. Coaching this weekend with everybody with equal talent.
Okay.
You can factor in past performance all you want, but coaching right now, and let's say they all have equal talent,
Okay.
who would you take?
Okay.
It's impossible.
Okay.
My scratch outs and no, I don't like that. No, move that. Already unbelievable.
Okay. I like that.
This is a loaded Sweet 16 of coaching heft.
No, it's really good. I'm already starting to I think figure out my top 3 or so.
Okay.
I think 16 Nate Oates. I'll just go ahead and say that.
The middle is so hard.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Top and bottom kind of stood out to me. 5 through 11.
Yeah, no, that'll be interesting. No, that'll be fun. So we'll do that tomorrow, and that should be a lot of fun. But we do have a busy show this afternoon, so let me set it up before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Drew Darmond is going to join us from 97.7 ESPN in Huntsville. He's going to talk Alabama and the SEC. Obviously, Alabama, with what they've done in the first 2 rounds, has been really, really impressive stuff. You really take away that first half against Hofstra, and they have played extremely well. We'll talk about the other SEC teams, not just the ones remaining, but also the ones that have been knocked out, his thoughts on those games, how they turned out for the SEC. 3:45, we'll stick with college basketball. We'll talk the Memphis Tigers and their roster, as we have word on at least 2 guys that, as of right now, are planning to return next year, with William Wharton and Julius Thedford. Talk about those 2 guys and kind of where the rest of this roster stands in terms of guys that can return, what we think those decisions will be, when we could possibly hear any news on any of those guys. 4 o'clock, Brent Beard from First Coast News down in Jacksonville. He'll join us, talk college football and college basketball with him. It will be a lot of college basketballs. We'll go over the 4 days of March Madness action that we've had behind us, start setting up the Sweet 16 matchups as well. 4:30, we'll talk some Grizzlies. We'll talk about what happened last night, a beatdown against the Atlanta Hawks. We'll talk some other NBA news. There's a lot of games last night, some interesting games tonight as well. We'll get our NBC game tonight with Orlando, a team we just discussed, on the road against the Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll see if they make it 6 straight losses for Orlando. We'll talk NBA at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Bo Marchant. He'll join us to talk the NFL. We'll talk with Bo for about 18, 19 minutes or so. We'll get out with him, and then we'll get to an early Moe's Crunch time around 5:20 or so, because we are out early this afternoon. Ole Miss baseball, they're in action. They're here in Memphis to take on the Tigers. We'll have pregame coverage starting at 5:30 for that first pitch at 6 o'clock. But let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. The Floor Model Spa Sale, it's going on right now at Family Leisure. It's time to make room. Deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, and cold plunges. Have you been dreaming about a new spa? Well, now is the time to buy. Spas as low as $99 a month, with over $1,000 in free upgrades with every spa purchased. $8,000 spas only $159 a month, with free LED lights and a waterfall available on most models. So head out there to Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sportstime, live and local and with you until 5:30, and we want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. Hit us up, always live, always local, from our Family Leisure Studios. He's Bryant. I'm Brett, our great producer. Landon Schmidt back with us today after a great job from Connor Dacus yesterday. Give us a call, give us a text. We'd love to hear from you. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2026 models and always special leasing options. Drive-in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. You can call them at 901-334-9673, but they want you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis, and that's at 2600 Ridgeway, and that's where you can put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2026 flagship LS500. You'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at LexusOfMemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it is the NBA. Obviously, we talked a little bit about the Grizzlies earlier in their loss last night against the Hawks. But most of last week, we've talked a lot about college basketball for good reason with March Madness. But things are heating up as we're starting to get closer towards the end of the season in the NBA. And things are really starting to line up. Over in the Eastern Conference, I think a pretty strong Eastern Conference this season. You look at that Atlanta Hawks team that the Grizzlies played last night, 9-1 in their last 10 back-to-back wins for them. They're in 6th place in the Eastern Conference after a slow start. In front of them, you've got a Toronto team that's been really good this season, Cleveland, who has been good, New York, Boston, and then still at the top, the Detroit Pistons. And then on the other side in the East, what Oklahoma City has done this year with all of the injuries they have. I heard it this morning. I think it was Eli that mentioned it on the morning show that the Grizzlies lead the league in missed time due to injury by players this season. Oklahoma City is second. Now, it's not very close. The Grizzlies have missed a ton of time this year by guys with injuries. But Oklahoma City is second in the NBA, and they are still leading the Western Conference 57-15. That shows just how deep of a team they are. I mean, some of their guys that in previous drafts that have been first-round picks aren't even seeing the floor right now because of all the talent they have. They looked really good last night against the 76ers, but a game that I was watching very closely last night, the San Antonio Spurs against the Miami Heat. San Antonio got the
edgy Wemby.
Hey, oh my gosh, Wembanyama, what he is doing. I mean, it's hard to talk about him and kind of be like,
when did he get that
awesome
personality?
I love it. I love a little Wemby with an edge, but no, he had it last night, especially in the post game, declaring that he should be the MVP, giving reasons why when asked about it. But last night, 26 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 blocks for him. Now, he didn't shoot the ball that great, especially from 3, 1 for 7 from deep. But what he does and how easy he makes it look. I mean, there was one play last night against the Heat where I forgot who was at guard. Maybe Castle was in there bringing the ball up and tried to get to the rim and kind of got bumped. Might have been Dylan Harper. Got bumped and just kind of threw it up towards the rim. And there goes Wemby with all of his height. He just catches it above the rim and throws it down. He is just an incredible player. This Spurs team, I don't think have lost to the Thunder this season in at least 3 matchups. They might have had all 4 matchups against the Thunder, but they've made it look easy against Oklahoma City. And those two could meet maybe in the Western Conference Finals. And I don't know. The Spurs might be able to pull that series upset against the Thunder and find themselves in the NBA Finals. This is a team that other teams in the Western Conference are going to have to deal with for a very long time.
Spurs in Memphis tomorrow night against the Grizzlies at FedEx Forum. My top story, Texas. Last Final Four, 2003. Purdue 2 years ago. Iowa 1980. Nebraska never. Arkansas 1995, lost in the final game. Arizona 2001. The Mighty Illini 2005 in St. Louis. Houston last year. St. John's 1999 with Ron Artest. Wow. Duke last year. Bama 2 years ago. Michigan 2018. Michigan State 2019. UConn 2 years ago. Tennessee never. Iowa State 1944. 1944. So by region and never are in a long time, St. John's, I take St. John's if we went the kind of the longest to ever go. St. John's in the east, Nebraska south, Arkansas west, and Iowa State in the Midwest. Then a Nebraska-Iowa State final if you went never a long time ago.
Wow. That's I like it. It could be.
It would be weird.
Yeah, it would be very weird. And it could get really fun over these next couple.
I mean, Iowa and Iowa State can Iowa and Iowa State meet in the finals? I don't think they can. Yes, they can.
Yeah,
yes, they can. Michigan and Michigan State can meet in the finals, can't they? Yes, they can.
Wow. So we can have some fun. Sign me up.
Let's get nuts.
I would love to get nuts.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, believe it or not, Major League Baseball gets started tomorrow
I believe
night.
it. I believe it.
It's hard for me to believe. I mean, I was thinking about it, I guess, yesterday of, man.
With that traditional New York opener of the Yankees and Giants.
On Netflix. Nothing screams opening day of Major League Baseball.
Tell somebody at the Polo Grounds in 1955 that they were going to open.
Whew, a lot to explain there in a lot of different ways. But it will start the season Thursday. Will really get started with a lot more teams getting the season started. And, Brett, I don't know if you kept up last night with the Cardinals against the Cardinals up in Springfield.
Did I keep up?
Oh, man. Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Making sure. It was ugly. It was,
yeah, it was
some rough stuff. Now, here's the thing, Brett. It's like spring football. Hey.
Magically goes away.
Well, no, not even that, Brett. They put it was the Springfield Cardinals. They played the game in Springfield. It was mainly the Memphis Redbirds roster that Springfield used. The minor league's just too good, Brett. I mean, these guys, these prospects that they have coming up, I mean, they're just too good.
Future's bright.
The future's extremely bright. That's why they did. Once they play regular major league opponents, they're playing their own guys. They've all seen each other all spring. They know all the weaknesses. Once the season gets started against teams they don't know, Cardinals are going to be fine.
Did the Cardinals bus or fly Springfield back to St. Louis? I know they flew from Florida to Springfield.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that was a big point of contention one year with Jim Edmonds boo-hooing about having to ride a bus from Springfield to St. Louis, and it messed his back up for 3 weeks.
Interesting. Wow. So it's weird how this worked. So from everything I can gather, and it wasn't much, I didn't do much research on this, they flew, obviously, from Florida, the minor league team, and basically the AAA team with a couple of AA guys, up to St. Louis or Springfield, wherever they flew into, had this game. Now, the team that suited up as the Springfield Cardinals last night will now go to Memphis to play for the Redbirds, and obviously the St. Louis Cardinals will go back up with it. But the actual Springfield Cardinals have yet to leave Florida. They're staying down there to get some more work in because their season doesn't start for another couple weeks. And I found this game. You could watch it online last night. I watched a little bit of it, and it was the Cardinals versus the Cardinals. And God bless whoever was doing play-by-play. It was messing him up in the first inning. I mean, he had
I think it was Matt Pauley, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't Matt Paul. I think it was that Springfield guy who was doing it on their stream.
Okay.
But man, the lineup, he was getting the wrong lineups because he was just looking at Cardinals, and so. But hey,
spring
he figured
games
it out.
can do that.
It's first game, Brett. You got to get it out there. It's just like spring training. He'll be ready for the start of the season.
Our good friend, great friend of the show, great friend of the station. You can hear him every Friday at 7:30 with Greg and Eli. John Varlas just texted me. He's got 68 and 94 for the Cardinals this year. John, you got it reversed.
That'd be under, Brett. That would hit our under that we talked about yesterday.
It's 94 and 68 for the Cardinals. We'll have those picks coming up in the next few days.
I think I'm with Varlas on that one.
Not top story. It was rough last night for the Grizzlies. 11 more. We want to finish 24 and 58. It'd be the most losses since the end of the 18 season. 22 and 60 would equal the end of the 09 season. 24 and 58. 22 wins in back-to-back years ending in 07 and 08. This is all to get better in 2 or 3 years. We still haven't gotten the number of years yet for the exact rebuild from Zach Kleiman, but we know it's not going to be this time next year. So at minimum, it's 2 years. Mm-hmm. If it's not 2 years, well, I can count after 2. Sure. Guess what? Guess what shows up after 2? Mm-hmm. 3.
Yeah. I passed that part of math.
I got the counting skills down at Miss Hawley's in kindergarten.
Right. Yeah, I can do the counting now. You ask me any math above that, I might struggle, but I at least have the counting now. I can figure that part of the rebuild out. But yeah, it was ugly last night. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's get to our first break, and when we return, we're talking some Alabama hoops. We'll talk the SEC. Drew Darman, he's going to join us next from 97.7 ESPN in Huntsville. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Sports Time.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? And if you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniform technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at lawnsolutionsinc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
Why are you staring at the Central Barbecue website?
I'm looking at eatcbq.com, waiting for inspiration to strike.
I almost never know what you're talking about.
I have to write the new Central Barbecue radio spot, and I'm thinking I can find inspiration on the Central Barbecue website.
So when you look?
Well, yeah, look at all the great stuff they have at all the Central Barbecue locations, from the slow smoke barbecue, the amazing sides, the appetizer. Central Barbecue has everything, and it's right there on their website.
Why not do a commercial about their website?
I can't do a spot for eatcbq.com.
Why not? Like you said, it's all right there.
I don't know. It just seems lazy.
Coming from you.
Come on, I can't just say visit eatcbq.com to learn all about Central Barbecue.
I don't know. I think it's got a nice ring to it.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we've got to talk the Alabama Crimson Tide. We'll talk some SEC as well. Drew DeArmond, he joins us from 97.7 ESPN down in Huntsville. Drew, thanks so much for joining us. This Alabama Crimson Tide team, all the news that came out last week about Aiden Holloway, they go out there. It's a little shaky in the first half against Hofstra. They bounce back in the second half, handle business in the second round. What have you made of these first two games in the tournament for Alabama?
Well, it's kind of a microcosm of the season. They've had guys in and out of the lineup due to injury and then the Bediako situation all year, so they've dealt with it. Hofstra was a little bit of a difficult matchup with the tempo they wanted to play and the size they had. And luckily, LeBaron Philon had an outstanding game, and then they were able to, it was a 37-35 game at half, but most of the season, they've made good halftime adjustments, and that's why they went on that 9-game streak in the SEC. They usually play really good second halves, and they did. They were able to, pour it on, get the pace to where they wanted it, and then pull away from Hofstra and do a nice job, and then move on to the second round in the round of 32 against Texas Tech. So, I think that Nados has done a good job of keeping the team, keeping it kind of between the ditches, and he does a really good job of adjusting and getting guys' minds right. Some coaches just know how to handle March, and he does, certainly. And the Aiden Holloway situation wasn't ideal, but the one thing Alabama has, they don't have a lot of depth in the post, but they do have a really good group of guards, and that's what. And losing a guy, it's never easy when you guy averages 17 points a game, but when you've got guys like Houston Millette, who his stat line may not be big all the time, but he's a grinder, and he's a guy that I think he'll probably end up on the staff at Alabama. He does all the little things right, and then you have a bigger forward like Amari Allen who can play a point forward spot for you and can handle the basketball some, and then you have other pieces like Taylor Bowen, who's finally healthy, and he's not a guard, but he certainly, I thought, put together back-to-back games as well as I've seen him play really probably all season. So I just felt like overall the team stepped up, and your stars have to be stars. And certainly in the game against Hofstra, LeBaron Philon looked like an All-American and a lottery pick, and that's what they needed for that particular game to advance to Texas Tech.
Drew, at times I'm almost the ringleader of kind of knocking Greg Byrne around a little bit, maybe unfairly. He's got the only team in the Sweet 16 that was also in the college football playoff. Maybe people like me need to back off a little bit.
Well, I mean, I've always been a fan of Greg. Certainly I think he's done a good job at Alabama under some difficult circumstances. I mean,
he only had to hire the replacement for the greatest coach ever.
Yeah, I mean, and that's never going to be easy. It's never going to be easy anywhere. Just ask Nebraska if you make the wrong move. What it can mean to you. And even if you you could even go back with Nebraska to conference affiliation. It can really hurt your program, and we'll see long term, what Kalen DeBoer can do. But I certainly think he's done some nice things in going 20 and 8 in 2 years. And Alabama, and college football has changed tremendously in the last really 2 to 3 years. So the landscape has changed a lot. There's a lot of programs now that have resources that can do well. Nick Saban decided to get out of the game, much like a Roy Williams or a Mike Krzyzewski or a Jay Wright. I know that that's a different sport, but for much of the same reasons. It's just a completely different game. It's really almost a young man's game, and I think Greg has planned ahead quite well. Certainly, I know Alabama's collective may not be as big as others, but Alabama doesn't have the university, that is. They don't have the infrastructure financially of a Texas A&M, or a Texas Tech, pardon me. But I will say, while Texas did win a softball national championship, how many trophies did they win on the men's side? And that's all I'll say. They didn't win any in the last couple of years. So just because you have the most money doesn't mean you're going to win, but you have to hire the right coaches. You have to support those coaches, and I think you have to create an environment where they want to stay. And I think he's done that with Nate Oates, because I can trust you guys. Nate Oates in 7 years could have left 3 or 4 times, and he has not. Greg Byrne's always been ahead of that. I think they're working on another extension for Oates, because everybody knows North Carolina is very likely going to come open, and who knows how much longer Bill Self will coach. So you have to create an environment and give your coaches what they need to succeed, and certainly they're doing that at Alabama basketball-wise now, and they're building a $50 million practice facility that should be done next year. They certainly, and Nate Oates had a hand in designing that, and they've certainly supported him, and his family seems to like it in Tuscaloosa. So, and I think the biggest thing is Nate Oates' belief. I think he believes he can win at the highest level at Alabama, or he wouldn't have stayed. And certainly, I think when you look at how he's coached this team, that's one of my favorite traits of Coach Oates. He's very transparent and very forthcoming, and he believes he can win. And I think he instills a lot of confidence in his players, and I think that's why, despite the Aiden Holloway situation, they have played arguably their best basketball back-to-back of the season in the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. So I think everybody understands this next challenge is going to be the biggest one they're going to face all year.
Absolutely, and you talk about that one. Next game against Michigan on Friday. Right now, that number's coming down a little bit. Yesterday, Michigan was a 10.5-point favorite. What do you expect in this game? You look at the last game out in the second round, very easy for Alabama, but obviously this Michigan team has been one of the best teams in the country all season long. What do you expect in this matchup Friday night?
Well, I mean, at least the one thing is the aggressive scheduling should have at least helped Alabama in this situation. Facing Arizona and Birmingham, and Arizona and Michigan could arguably be the best 2 teams in the country and might be on a collision course for a national championship. And, so we'll see. But certainly, I think Michigan's huge. Yaxel Lindenborg is an outstanding, versatile player who can play inside and out. It's coming off of just an unbelievable 25-point effort, when they won their second-round game in a rout, and so I think overall when you look at Michigan, I think they're very, very solid. I think Elliot Cadeau from North Carolina has done a great job at making a transition into, in running their team at the point guard spot. And Damari Burnett, ironically, came from the University of Alabama. He's a good shooter. But I will say, if Alabama has an advantage in this contest coming up, I think it is at guard. I think Alabama's LeBaron Filine, Houston Millett, and now what we saw, it was really huge, I thought, for Latrell Reisel to finally get back to scoring the ball. He didn't play well against Ole Miss in the SEC tournament. Some of that you credit Ole Miss, certainly for the job Chris Beard did. And he was pretty good against Hofstra. He was outstanding. And they're going to need that. They're going to need him to be outstanding against Michigan. He's a really good shooter, really good defender. I do think Alabama could have an advantage in the backcourt. Now, the front court, we're going to have to see Aiden Sherrill stay out of foul trouble and get a double-double. And I know he had, I think, 15 and 15 against Hofstra. It's going to take a similar effort against Michigan. I don't know if that's possible, but he and Taylor Bowen and even to a degree with his versatility, Amari Allen on the glass, they're going to have to keep Alabama within shouting distance. They eviscerated Texas Tech on the glass. I don't think that happens against Michigan. It's not really possible. Michigan's too big and talented, but I think you need to stay within 4 to 5. You need to stay within shouting distance on the glass, and then you need to make shots. I think you got to spread Michigan out. You've got to move the basketball. You can't stick. And then I think Alabama's going to have a similar effort from the three-point line that they did against, certainly Texas Tech. They're going to have to make, I think the magic number is 15 threes. If they make 15 or more threes, then I think they've got a chance to beat Michigan in the end. If not, then Michigan's going to be too big and too strong and too talented. But I do think there is a path for Alabama, but it's going to have to go through the backcourt, no question.
Well, let's go through that math. All right, 15 threes, that's 45. Make about 15 free throws, that's 60. Well, then, to get to 80, you'll have to make 10 two-point buckets.
Yeah, and the way I look at that is I thought Alabama's perimeter defense against, Christian Anderson and the guards at Texas Tech was the best I'd seen all year. I thought they did a great job against their backcourt, and I thought the ball pressure, they were able to force about 7-8 turnovers, just live ball turnovers. They're going to have to do that to Michigan. And those created some fast break opportunities and some opportunities for Alabama to get to the free throw line and end up, and put points on the board. I always have a magic number, and I hit it right on the head for Texas Tech. I felt like the Texas Tech pace that if Alabama got to 90, they would win the game. Well, they hit it right on the head. I felt like with Hofstra and the way they wanted to slow the ball down, I felt like with Hofstra it was 85, and they
pretty
once
close.
Again they were able to. You what, Brett?
You were pretty close.
Yeah, I was close. With Michigan, they're so talented. I would probably say if Alabama's going to win the game, it's going to have to be a fast-paced game. It's going to have to be a game where, what we just said, Alabama makes 15 to 16 threes. I think, once again, the game is going to have to be around 90 to 95. If they can get it up there, and again, they're going to give up baskets because Michigan is very, very talented, but they're going to have to win like a 90 to 85 type game. I think if they're going to beat Michigan, because they're going to have to make Michigan work defensively, and then they're going to have to stay within shouting distance on the glass, and then Alabama's going to have to take care of the basketball. I think they can't afford more than probably 8 to 10 turnovers. If it gets up into the teens, that means Michigan's in the open floor. That means you've given up more possessions, and that Michigan, and they're going to cash those in because they're just too good around the basket, and that means Lindenborg probably had a huge game. But I just think it's going to be tough. I've got Michigan, winning one under the number. If I had to guess the score, I would say maybe an 85 to 80 type game. But I do think there's a path for Alabama to win it. But they're going to have to, play as good a game as they've played. I'm not going to say most complete because I can't see them holding a Michigan team in the 60s because that Michigan team's too good. I know Michigan has some trouble with Wisconsin and split with them, and I know that Purdue got them in the Big Ten tournament, and that was an 80-72 type game. I think it's going to have to be a little more high scoring for Alabama, just the way they play.
Mm-hmm.
But Alabama's going to have to give themselves a chance going into the last 5 minutes, and then shot making could be the difference with the guard play Alabama has.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be a fun game on Friday, and we'll see what this Alabama team can do. But Drew, as always, thanks so much for joining us. We'll definitely have to have you back on soon.
I really appreciate it. Thank y'all. Always enjoy being on with you.
Thanks, Drew.
You got it, Drew. Drew DeArmond with us from down in the Rocket City in Huntsville for the two ultimate college football brands meeting up in the house that Michael Jordan built.
That's right. That's wow. When you lay it out like that,
kind of heavy, isn't it?
It really is. That's. I think it's gonna be a fun one. We talked about it yesterday. At the time, yesterday was the only game that had a double-digit spread. Now it's come down to about 9.5 right now. I think it's going to be a really good game, and Michigan can really flex their muscles if they go out there and can win that game by double digits. I think a lot of teams are going to be in trouble the rest of the way.
And the last time they met in football, we know what happened. That was Coach Nick Saban's final game.
Yeah, that's right.
Out at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, no, that was definitely
they've met since then.
They met the next season.
The next year got DeBoer the next year. Sure did.
Miserable bowl game for
Michigan ain't scared of Bama, are they?
No, they're not.
They really have the sign up.
That's right. That was the game. Jalen Milroe had like 3 or 4 turnovers in the first half. I've tried to block that out of my mind.
I did too. I almost successfully did.
You did, and then it kind of crept back in.
The Rose Bowl was big, and Harbaugh goes on and wins it, and Nick Saban goes on and retires and goes to TV. So I think Nate Oates stays at Bama. He's got the payout goes down to $10 million at some point in early April from where it is now, but I think they're going to keep it.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think everything that Drew said about it, what they're building around him, what they're able to give him, the success that he's had there. I think he's happy there, and I just would be shocked if he left for any of these other jobs.
Who's at Bama longer, DeBoer or Oates?
I think Nate Oates.
Do you really? Wow.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Drew DeArmond joined us on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Sissy's Log Cabin, the official jeweler for the hometown teams like the Tigers and the Grizzlies, and at FedEx Forum at Grizzlies games, the Floor Seat Lounge, and that great location for Sissy's Log Cabin at 4542 Poplar at Poplar and Perkins in Laurelwood. Bill Jones and his great team, they're here to stay and part of the fabric of the community with the Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, wedding bands, necklaces, earrings for all those special moments in your life. They've got you covered. 9,000 square foot store in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more since 1970 with all the locations across the Mid-South. Sissy's, they offer a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts. Official jeweler for the Memphis Grizzlies. And at FedEx Forum with the Floor Seat Lounge, go back there during Grizzlies games and look at those beautiful display cases. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Well, we need to get to another break. When we return, we'll talk some Tigers. We mentioned it yesterday. 2 players have said that they intend to return next season for Penny Hardaway's team. The other 6 we have not gotten word about yet. We'll talk about the guys that still have the ability to return, what we think this roster could look like in terms of retention. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Ben Storff Realtors, and I'm with Julie Molinari, also with Mark's Ben Storff Realtors. Julie, you've been in real estate almost your entire life, having started in South Florida in your family's firm. But more importantly, as the Florida's high school state champion in golf and playing for Florida Gulf Coast, I needed your opinion on my golf game.
Sheldon, you are a pro when it comes to selling real estate and representing buyers, but as far as your golf game, I've seen better swings on the playground.
Thanks a lot, Julie. We both know the score, though. Selling real estate requires a high degree of skill off the course, and both of us do have that. So if you're thinking of selling your home, remember, making real estate easy is Julie Molinari, 305-0112.
And when you want the job done, call Shell Dunn at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546.
Memphis is a love song to soul and style. With the full suite of sought-after designers, brilliant natural diamonds, an elegant bar, luxury VIP lounge, and more, a trip to our store is an experience like no other. Just like the city we love. Stop by any of our stores or visit sissyslogcabin.com and experience Sissy's for yourself. Memphis is our home, and we're your jeweler.
Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Brownie, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
You love your land. During Kubota Orange Days, you'll love all the great deals. With versatile compact tractors, professional-grade mowers, and durable utility vehicles, Kubota equipment can help you turn dream projects into reality. Kubota Orange Days is here, and so are the best deals of the year. Now through June 30th, get select compact tractors with 0% financing available or save up to $5,500. Sale ends soon. Go to KubotaOrangeDays.com or stop by your local dealer for more information.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, we learned over the weekend Julius Thedford and William Wharton both intend to return to Memphis next year and play another season for Penny Hardaway. Those were 2 of the 8 guys with eligibility remaining. Last week at his press conference, Penny Hardaway said that he had met with all 8 of the players in terms of returning next year, kind of giving them each that idea of kind of what their role would look like next season and giving them the opportunity to return if they wanted to fill that position that was laid out. So far, we've heard from 2. He gave them a Friday deadline, so that's not saying that the rest of those 6 have not made their decision or have not told Penny Hardaway what they intend to do, but nothing public has come out from those other 6. I believe it was Julius Thedford's agent that said he would be back, and then also said that Wharton was planning on coming back as well. So 2 down, and still waiting on word from the other 6.
Yeah, and Jason Munns from the Commercial Appeal laid out a great story. Mm-hmm. Was it Saturday on the prospect, like the likelihood? And
I think that was either Sunday or Monday, because I think the news about Thedford and Wharton was a Saturday deal, or maybe it was a Sunday deal, and I think that story came after those 2 were committed.
And the one most definitively ruled out in Jason's story was Ashton Hardaway.
Yeah, I was I'm a little surprised to see that it was that definite of probably not going to be back next year. But I'll say this, and I never want to kind of point to, is this guy, sitting for injury or is he sitting for any other reason? But, Ashton missed the last 5 or 6 games of the season, and there was never really much talk about what his injury was or why he was missing games. He just wasn't playing, and we never got an update about it. It was just kind of one day he missed a game, and then he just kept missing games, and nobody really talked about it. So, it wouldn't surprise me if he's not back and kind of pointing to that and saying, yeah, maybe the writing was on the wall. But obviously with his father being the head coach, would not be surprised if he's back either. And I wouldn't mind it at all if Ashton Hardaway is back next season.
And in that same Jason Munn's piece, Quante Berry and Aaron Bradshaw almost certain to return.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. It seemed like the 6 guys, I think about 4 of them out of that 6, he felt pretty good about coming back next season, or at least 50-50 or better to return next season. But you're right, those 2, he felt really, really good that they could come back. Obviously, Bradshaw and what he would be next year. What can you do with him having a full off season to really develop him and try to figure out this is what you're going to do for us next season. And then with Quante Berry, a very kind of roller coaster season for him. Had that really big game, I think it was the last game of the regular season against Tulane, where he played extremely well, but he could certainly play a nice rotation role again like he did this past season. So I think I'll be curious to see when it's all said and done how many of these guys are back and kind of what they do around them once that portal opens.
I think these guys that we think are going to return, maybe as many as 6, but at least 4.
Yeah.
They have to be kind of 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
The new players coming in found out there this year, they have to kind of be the primary guys.
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely the way you have to go about it.
We know if these are the primary guys. Right. We kind of know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and so I think it's good to have these guys back to kind of lay down that foundation of what you want to do as a team, have that continuity, and then go out and try to put some really nice pieces around them to make a complete team. And obviously the portal opening later, we're getting an idea of some guys that are going to enter the portal. Some guys have made it known their intentions to enter the portal. I know Rowan Brumball, there was at least a tweet out earlier today that he's going to enter the portal. So we'll see where he ends up landing.
What would he cost?
I think a pretty penny. I don't know exactly how much.
If Kentucky and North Carolina started fighting for him, what would he cost? What would he command?
I really don't know. I'm not the NIL type of guy. I couldn't even really give you a figure.
3, 4?
I don't know. I don't think he would. I think it would certainly be less than PJ Haggerty, or at least the figures we were talking about with PJ Haggerty. But it would be in that range, I think. I mean, he's a good player, but wow. No, I don't think he's a.
It escalated quickly on the money, didn't it?
Yeah, no kidding. It's a lot of money out there, and you don't really know what to believe.
Quinshon Judkins for $80,000, I thought was crazy.
Yeah, well, you never know.
That was a deal.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy to think about, but a lot of the times you hear these numbers that are reported or that guys are saying they got. That story with Yaxel of was he going to go to Kentucky and the numbers that were thrown out there, and then Mark Pope was asked about it and didn't really want to answer it, and nobody really knows what to believe with what these guys are actually being paid or being offered. So it is a weird world we're living in now, but we'll hopefully get a better idea in the next couple of weeks of what this looks like. But let's get to a break, wrap up this first hour, and when we return, Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville, he'll join us. We'll talk a little college football. We'll talk a lot of college basketball. That comes your way next on Sports Time.
Your home is your best investment, so why not make it the best it can be with help from Gates Lumber? Start with your front door, serving 2 purposes, curb appeal and security. Gates has solid construction doors built for security, durability, and beauty. See and compare wood, steel, and fiberglass options side by side at Gates Showroom. It's easier to choose when you can see and touch real doors with real assistance from knowledgeable staff helping you choose the right door for your home and budget. So don't just replace your door, upgrade your protection, and Gates Lumber is the right choice. Family owned and operated, serving you for over 100 years with free estimates, free delivery, competitive prices, and quality products. Call 901-942-3201, go to gateslumber.com, or come by their showroom, 1253 South Bellevue Boulevard. Gates Lumber, celebrating over 100 years with a passion for craftsmanship since 1920.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
A long life is wonderful, but it comes with changes as you age. So when you're ready to change your home, Town Village Audubon Park is the perfect choice. Incredible location, amazing amenities, including a pool, all-inclusive dining, and on-site medical care so you can age in place. Monthly rental with no buy-in lets you make current choices. Apartments include full kitchen, washer and dryer, bi-weekly housekeeping, and all basic utilities. Landscape courtyards make it easy to get sunshine and fresh air. Gated parking keeps you ready to go. And the Town Village Dog Park keeps your fur baby close by your side. Hi, I'm Max. My wife Jean and I moved into Town Village Audubon Park 18 months ago. It's the best decision we ever made. We have made friends here and take part in lots of social activities. It's a comfortable life. So if you're thinking of making a change, come see me and Town Village Audubon Park. I think you'll like it as much as we do, and look, new friends.
This traffic report brought to you by City Center Liquor just off Highway 70 in Lakeland. Local, friendly, and always fully stocked. For a 5% discount, tell them Sports 56 sent you.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A couple of EMS calls here in the last few minutes. It's cranking up through the Midtown area. Pretty much on schedule. 240 south here at South Parkway. Further south you go of Memphis, we had radar down through DeSoto County. That was a little bit earlier. 240 heavy now at times coming past Mill Branch, headed over to 385. St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital is leading the way the world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer. If you can help these kids with cancer, I hope you do. Log on to stjude.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
We're back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our second hour on this Tuesday afternoon. We got to talk some college football and a lot of college basketball. And joining us to do that, he's from First Coast News down in Jacksonville. It's Brent Beard.
College football talk every Tuesday with Brent Beard, Heisman voter, and on Twitter X at Brent Beard. SEC, ACC, AAC. We talk it all with Brent. Here's Brent Beard with Bryant and Brett.
Brent Beard joins us now, and Brent, a lot to talk about, especially from college basketball with all the March Madness action. But we have three SEC teams in the Sweet 16, Texas, Arkansas, and Alabama. Four, and then Tennessee. I completely forgot Tennessee, excuse me. Out of those four teams, who have you been impressed by the most through these first two rounds?
Well, let me also throw in here how easily we could have had two more in Vanderbilt on that incredible attempt that actually went in the basket and came out. And then the Florida Gators, who were ahead by 3 with 1:10 left, and scored 1 point after that. I tell you what, you can make a plan for all of them, guys. Texas winning 3 games in a week was quite impressive. Arkansas, Coach Cal has really done a great job with this team. Bama, Really not even close in the last two games for them. And Tennessee playing well also. I don't know if, frankly, if any of them wins. I think probably one of them might at this point. So, I mean, as well, I don't think they're the best team left, but as well as Texas is playing, would it surprise you if they somehow upset Purdue?
It would not, and we know Sean Miller is a really good coach. They knew they could do better. And Texas went out and made that hire. I don't know how Ole Miss beat Texas and Alabama in Nashville.
Really?
They beat two Sweet 16 teams 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they sure did. Well, I mean, but when Ole Miss was playing well, they're so well coached that anything can happen. But I certainly get your point on the premise that they have played poorly during most of the season.
Yeah, Brent, what do you think is harder to win, a college basketball national championship or college football?
I'm going to say probably basketball, simply because there are just more games. Frankly, I mean, or at least that's kind of how things go. That's a great question. I mean, football is hard as it is, and you've got injuries, you've got more physical contact, obviously. But I'll say basketball because, as you guys know, we're an hour and a half from Florida, and we talk to a lot of their people often. And to win it last year, to beat Houston, based on the last play of the game, and then even the Florida people admitted to us that you can get cocky and you can get overconfident, and you can go out in an early round. And unfortunately for the Gators, that's basically what happened.
It got them that last 3-10. For as good as last year, how it ended, this year ended horribly for the Gators. And now here come the Todd Golden rumors. Do you think Florida for a long, long run?
I don't know if it's a long run. I think he stays a while longer. I mean, at this point, look, he until the football team gets going again. I mean, he rules university at this point. I mean, the excitement they've got right now for basketball we haven't really seen since Billy Donovan when he was around here. So I'm not going to say that's a good question, Brett. I'm not going to say he's going to be there another 10 years, but I think he could be there another 3 to 5 and be able to win one and then head on to greener pastures.
I know it's 0-0, and it's his first spring there as the head football coach, and everybody loves the guy at 0-0. If you're not loved at 0-0, you're in for some tough times. But John Sumrall is hitting every note. That quote about where he vacationed, he said Naples and where else in Florida, and he said Venice, and he said I'm not talking Italy.
Well, the amusing thing about that was he was supposed to take his wife on their, I think it's like their 15th anniversary. So what he said was, no, I've got too much stuff I got to do here. Now, all three of us know that trip's still coming. At some point, she won't let him forget that probably. But I will say this, and again, in fairness, he hasn't coached a game, but he has got people's attention, and he's also had Spurrier and Urban and so forth. And so he's, to Brett's point, he's pushing all the right buttons so far.
Well, they're a great couple, and he is as intense but normal. I mean, Orgeron never could turn the intensity down. It was always kind of one speed. I mean, you can take John out in public.
That's a good point. And he seems to have a sense of humor. They had a picture recently of he and a gator, and the gator was way too close to him. In my concern, really. But he's also tough. and can be a rather demanding. But I mean, that's just typical coach stuff at this point. So. To Brett's point, yes, he has pushed all the right buttons so far.
Yeah. You talk about Florida getting beat, obviously the defending champs. They've been playing so well, especially in conference play. What has the conversation been like over these last couple of days about this Florida team getting knocked out before the Sweet 16?
I think it's been shock, frankly. I mean, they thought they would get back to at least the Final Four, if not have a chance to win the whole thing. Now, they struggled toward the end of the season for one reason or another, and really just didn't play well. Didn't play well, obviously, against Vanderbilt. But everybody thought, well, they just wanted to go home. This is what it amounts to. But I think what we're seeing now is, I mean, it's not a given that you're going to repeat, particularly. And again, the guards were okay. Boogie Flan and company, they didn't shoot the three well, although they did improve, and they deserve some credit for that also. But the real problem was Florida had some players who had really been playing well and just been on a great routine for them and a great pattern for them. For one reason or another, foul trouble and so forth, struggled. So, and to Brent's point a few minutes ago, A, it is going to be interesting to see how long he stays. But B, I mean, he's proven that they can really win. But the reality of it is, if I hear a concern, it's does the confidence turn to arrogance at some point, and this may knock them down a peg with that.
Well, if the carousel started spinning, the dominoes started falling, if Todd Golden did get an offer that he just couldn't say no to, North Carolina, I don't know how you would, if you're in the basketball coaching business, how you turn them down?
Sure.
No matter what you've done or where you played, if Carolina comes calling, I think you have to take it. But he may not. But if he did, would it be a groundswell for the return of Billy Donovan?
But
he's quit him twice. Remember, he quit him once for about 3 days with the Magic, and then he quit him and stayed gone with the Bulls.
And Brett, to flesh that out a little bit, would Billy want to deal with making decisions such as NIL and so forth that he really didn't have to deal with, and he was there before? I think. I mean, look, Billy's beloved, and I don't use that loosely. He is beloved in Gainesville, and frankly, in the state of Florida. I mean, he would be more than welcome back. But the question is, would he want to deal with what the average coach deals with today?
Look, it would aggravate him when, at times, and I thought he was a really nice person here when he was with the Grizzlies, but at times, Joakim Noah could be very high maintenance and a little bit flighty, and a little bit flaky when he was there, but he was a great player.
Yes.
I mean, he's not going to have a team made up of Humphrey and Horford when it comes back to college basketball.
No, he's not. No, and now I will say
it's going to be more Teddy Dupuy and the bad side of Noah.
Very much, yeah. Now the reality of it is their front line was terrific. It was their guards who struggled throughout the year. Although I will say, to their credit, the guards, we mentioned Boogie Flan a few minutes ago, they picked it up, and they played well as the season went along. But again, give Iowa credit for taking advantage of a rare opportunity with Florida.
Yeah, no question. Talking to Brent Beard, he joins us every single week from First Coast News down in Jacksonville. 2 SEC teams will take on a number 1 seed on Thursday and Friday. On Friday, Alabama will take on Michigan, and then on Thursday, Arkansas will take on Arizona. Out of those 2 matchups, which SEC team, both underdogs, have the better chance of pulling the upset?
I I would say probably Arizona at this point. Might now that's not taken away from Alabama. I mean, Bama's playing really well.
Yeah.
There's no question about that in their first 2 games, but these are different animals that you've got to deal with. I mean, a lot of people are picking either Arizona or Michigan to win the national championship. I mean, it'd be a real feather in their cap if either one of them won, to say the least. But again, I mean, it may not happen, but I mean, certainly Arizona, Houston, Duke, Michigan. I mean, Arizona State's playing well too. It should be a great Thursday and Friday night. But I would go with Arkansas probably right now a little bit more.
We know that Mike White kind of reset the clock, leaving Florida for Georgia after being hired to replace Billy Donovan from Louisiana Tech. He was good at Florida, but he wasn't great. He's been good at Georgia, but that game and that performance in the NCAA tournament against St. Louis, I think next springtime he could be looking to reset another clock.
That was putrid, to say the least. I mean, look, when you get to that's your goal the whole year, would be to get to the NCAA tournament and then to go and actually get there. And I mean, guys, they were 20-something points behind late in the first half, much less the second half, and have the lack of effort that they had, and that comes squarely back on that coaching staff. But that was, I mean, they just looked disinterested. They didn't want to be there. I mean, you really kind of wonder, and I'm not saying this happened, okay? But you really kind of wondered, could something have happened, for the team chemistry the last day or two that may have affected that. But to Brett's point, it was one of the worst losses by an SEC team in the dance in quite a while.
If you've got chemistry issues at the NCAA tournament, you've got more issues than chemistry.
No question. But I mean, for them guys to look so listless.
It was a layup drill for St. Louis U, or a 3-point, wide open, uncontested, get your feet set threes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Look, if there was a way for Georgia to mess up on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, they absolutely did in that game.
Oh yeah, they checked off every box of total team and effort.
Yes, and that is why Mike White, look, who's a generally good guy.
Sure is.
And
sure
look,
is.
He's a fairly decent coach. But people saw this at Florida, and they see it at Georgia that his teams, for whatever reason, have a tendency at the worst possible time of laying an absolute egg.
It was the affliction that got Mark Richt. Nobody's challenging. Not a great guy, not a good man, not a leader of a program. Georgia fans wanted more. They got it. Florida fans wanted more with Mike White kind of helping them out on the Georgia deal, and they got it.
Yeah.
Georgia fans are going to want more.
Oh, sure they will, or at least they should want more. Now, obviously, spring football started, so their attention is shifted.
And that's what
to
really
that.
matters.
Well, it is. But at the same time, when you're in this league, and again, I think back late in the season, I mean, Georgia beat Alabama by 10 when Bama was playing well. But
Ole Miss beat Georgia twice, beat them at Stegman and in the tournament.
Yeah, but look, to get in the tournament and be that listless. Look, people are sad in Gainesville, but they understand. Okay, we got beat by a point, but when you're Georgia and you get beat by basically 30, at that point you've got a problem.
When we said it real time, Brian and I both, it was 25 that felt like 45.
That
was an utter pounding by St. Louis.
Yes.
Brent Beard, our guest on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Brent, you said it nicely. These 4 teams deserve credit. Don't think any of them will really advance even out of the 16 to the 8. I don't think there's a Final Four team in there. maybe, but I don't think there's a champion like last year. The Big Ten, they're getting ready to maul us. They're going to dunk on us. They're going to plant that flag. Football and basketball in better years than the big bad SEC. Get ready for it, and to the victor go the spoils. They'll be correct.
Oh yeah. Well, and listen, it would mean a lot for the league, for the SEC to win one or two of these games. I don't think that's going to happen. But again, in the dance, there are just times where you just don't know when the team catches fire at this point. And you could, in the SEC again, it came close. They've got 4 there now. They came close to getting 6. Is a reality of it, but I mean, Brett's right. I mean, they when you really think about it at this point, I mean, this year's been one of the best years in Big Ten history, frankly.
Has been,
it definitely has
and good years. Mm-hmm. Now they haven't won it since 2000. They haven't won it yet, but a very real possibility of all 4 teams in Indianapolis from the Big Ten. If they do that, I said yesterday that they have our funeral in Indianapolis.
Yeah,
they put on a ceremony.
That'd almost be unbearable, wouldn't it, guys? If that happened. But look, if you can, if you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
you can walk it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But still, Arizona, Houston may have something to do with that.
Oh, yeah.
St. John,
State.
or Duke. For that
You're not going to make
me
cheer for Duke. Bryant cheers for Duke. We're going to leave it at that. Yeah. Bryant's a big Dookie, Brent.
I don't know about that. I somehow got labeled a Dookie for just defending their head coach.
Just merely defended John Shira, and I've assailed him ever since.
Now I'm a Dookie. We haven't talked about Kentucky. They got
like that's a terrible thing.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Well,
in all the sport, to be a Dookie would not be that bad a thing.
Well,
would
for
it?
90% of sports fans, I think it is like one of the worst things you could possibly be. But another feels like a thing that is it's certainly a sport fan. Kentucky Wildcat fans, they are pretty hot right now about Mark Pope. They got out of the first round, needed the half-court shot, sent into overtime. Then that second half against Iowa State where the Cyclones just absolutely dominated it. What does next season look like for Mark Pope? It feels like he's going to enter the season with a pretty hot seat.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt about it. I mean, they had 12 first-half turnovers, the most for Kentucky in many seasons, the worst loss in the tournament since 72, the most turnovers since 93, the 12th time that they trailed by 16-plus points in a game. My goodness, those fans aren't going to deal with that very, very long. And even though Pope's one of them, it's vital for them to have a better than 22-14. And we've talked about the Gators a lot, and the Gators have beat them 3 times this year, and the Gator coaching staff were more than happy to point out that in those 3 victories over Kentucky didn't lead a single second in any of the games either.
Wow. And they won't admit this, but it's compounded by they got to look up and see on their TV John Calipari moving through this bracket at Arkansas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Look, I think that's a much bigger deal to them than Florida beating them 3 times. But again, congratulations to Cal with that. But we all know guys like Alabama football or someone like that. There are a lot of teams that would love to have had who love to be in 22-14 to make the dance. But at Kentucky, that's not a good season. So. It should be a rather stressful offseason, unfortunately, for the Cats.
Yeah, it absolutely will be. It'll be fun over the next couple days, Thursday and Friday, to see how all of the action plays out, what this Elite Eight sets up to look like. But Brent, as always, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next Tuesday.
Look forward to it, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Brent.
Thank you, Brent. Always. Brent Beard with us from down in Jacksonville, talking all things college sports from First Coast News. Bryant, I asked Brent the football, basketball, harder, easier. What's your answer?
Man, I think they're both so tough.
They are?
I think it's become a lot more difficult with football with the expanded playoffs. I'll say probably football, just because, and it's getting, I guess, a little better as we expand it more. But I mean, for so long with the 4-team playoffs, you lose one game, and I mean, your season is just over.
Great answer, Brian. You're the first person that's ever gotten in the ballpark of agreeing with me on that it is football, and it was decidedly football before all these layers of playoffs for football. When one ding, you were done.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I think because people look at it so much of the 64 teams, and then now you got to advance in single elimination, which is very difficult. It's very hard. But just the grind of, hey, you can have a tough November. I mean, look what Florida did. We were ready to write them off in middle of December of, oh man, they can't beat any good teams, and they go out there and now, they didn't make it to the Sweet 16, but at the end of the season, they were a number 1 seed playing great basketball, and they go in a really good spot. If you take that equivalent to football and you say, the first 5 weeks of the season, they lost 2 or 3 games, I mean, they're not even in the conversation for the NCAA tournament most years. So I would say football. Both are really tough. It's a really tough question, but I would lean on the side of football.
And on the number of games this year, Indiana, they had to, that the 12-0 regular season, they had to win the Big Ten championship game to get that number 1 seed. That was big for them. I think they might have won it even if they had slipped up in a narrow loss to Ohio State. I don't know. Anyway, then they had to win. So that made them 13-0. Then Rose Bowl, 14-0. Semifinals 15. Finals 16. That's a lot of games there.
A lot of games. It really is. No, it is. It's a lot, and it's
in a most physical sport, but a different sport, different science than basketball. And why the comparisons? And I did it. They're not fair, and they're really inane.
Yeah, I mean,
it's 2 different things.
It is. It's a tough question though, but it's an interesting question. It makes you think for sure. I will tell you this, to get completely off topic. We've got it on SportsCenter in here on the TV. I think this is just SportsCenter, but they're doing a gambling segment talking about Major League Baseball. One of the people on SportsCenter just threw J.J. Weatherholt a pick for Rookie of the Year. How about
Join
that?
The crowd.
How about that? I mean, the train
number
is
26.
rolling. That's right. Used to be
and
77.
a friend of mine reminded me, said, Brett, really disappointed in you yesterday when you couldn't come up with a 26. Tony Pena. Late 80s catcher. Big trade. He said, Brett, he said, I felt for it. I knew you were starting to start losing it.
Oh man, that's not good. But hey, you're still in spring training form. I mean, you haven't rounded into baseball midseason form yet. I'll tell you what though, Brett, since we're
Tony Pena, one of the most disappointing Cardinals ever. I told him, don't throw that at me like he went down in baseball lore.
Well, I guess, that's another one where you tried to block it out of your mind. Hey, let me tell you this, though, Brett. Tiger looking great out here on the course.
Is he good?
Tiger, hey, if you could have seen him 15 minutes ago when he was lining up those
Are his glutes firing?
Yeah. Oh, man.
You think glutes are firing? Good.
He's got the leg sleeve on.
Man, I hate it when Tiger's glutes don't fire. That's always a sad moment.
Now, it is a little weird. He was warming up out there wearing shorts, Very rare you see Tiger Woods in a pair of shorts. So
it really is because... I know, and you could see him through his pant leg a lot of times, the heavy braces that he would have to play in.
Yeah, and like I said, he at least had one, maybe both. I can only see one really down one leg. He had the
It's the most surgically repaired body in the history of sport.
It is, and it's certainly taken its toll, and that's why he's
great to watch.
Not getting close to a real golf course on a professional level.
I want him hale, hearty, and happy, mind, body, and soul.
And I hope he has fun tonight.
But in 2 weeks, Thor Please now driving Tiger Woods, I'll take it. I'll take it. I want it.
See, I thought you were going to go the other way. If I want him to be happy, I want him to do what he likes to do, but don't go out there and have to go through that at the Masters.
I want him there.
All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, never say never. Maybe this is his warm up for it. See if he can actually.
When he won in 2019, that was some day.
It really was. So who knows? I'll watch tonight. I'll watch TGL and see what Tiger does. I'll have a full report for you on how Tiger's looking in the simulation golf tonight in their championship. But let's go ahead and get to another break. When we return, we're going to talk some NBA. We'll talk the Grizzlies. Their loss last night. What's coming up next? It's a tough one against the San Antonio Spurs tomorrow night. A lot of NBA talk that comes your way next on Sports Time.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. Taking care of families isn't new to us. It's what we've done across the Mid-South since 1958. Now celebrating 68 years in business, Choate's is still family-owned, award-winning, and committed to doing things the right way. With honest service, expert technicians, and industry-leading warranties that bring real peace of mind. To celebrate, we're offering our $68 deals. Get our $68 early bird AC tune-up special, or just need Freon to get you cooling, get $68 off per pound. If your system is struggling, don't wait for it to fail on the hottest day of the year. Upgrade today and get up to $2,000 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates on select Carrier systems. Plus, enjoy 60 months no interest financing on new HVAC systems, generators, or tankless water heaters. Call Choates at 347-8086 or visit HVAC.com today. And remember, let our family serve your family.
It's a new year, and it's the first new sale at Family Leisure. It's the floor model sale happening now. Family Leisure has deep, like diving deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, even those cold plunges. How deep are these discounts? I'm not allowed to say. So if you've been putting off getting a new spa, then right now is the best time to buy. Here's one price I can let loose. You can get a spa as low as $99 a month. Plus, you can get over $1,000 in upgrades with every spa purchased. One other special deal, you can get an $8,000 spa for only $159 a month. And you know what? Family Leisure is going to throw in some LED lights and waterfalls on most models. Room's got to be made, and so do the deals at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. Or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger-buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at NapaCafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Sometimes an idea comes along that fills a void nobody even knew existed, and a few years ago, one of those ideas was Sunrise. We didn't know that Memphis had been waiting for a place that serves the freshest, fastest, made-to-order breakfast, and lunch, for that matter. And then Sunrise on Jefferson opened, and we all realized that's what we'd been waiting for. And now, we also have Sunrise East on Poplar, because we needed that too. Both Sunrise locations provide the delicious food we've been craving, and now we can get, and we can only get, at Sunrise.
This traffic report brought to you by City Center Liquor, just off Highway 70 in Lakeland. Local, friendly, and always fully stocked. For a 5% discount, tell them Sports 56 sent you.
Sports 56 traffic.
Well, good afternoon. Heavier traffic volume spotted over here on 240, especially going eastbound, coming past Mill Branch, trying to get on to 385, cranking up pretty good out towards the Collierville area. Right on schedule over here where it's crowded. Certain sections of Sam Cooper mostly going outbound, trying to get back up on the interstate. Hey, adopt a pet, a cat or a dog right now at the Humane Society of Memphis, Shelby County. Just go to their website. They're all on there at memphishumane.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
And she says, I wish that I could be like the cool kids.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. We got to talk some NBA. Grizzlies, they were in action last night on the road in Atlanta against the Hawks. And it was all Atlanta pretty much from the opening tip. They go out there, outscored the Grizzlies in the first quarter, 32-22. And it was on from there, 146-107, the final score. The Grizzlies will return tomorrow night to host the San Antonio Spurs, who got a win last night over the Miami Heat. So it's going to be a tough stretch. Talked about with DeMichael. You look at the rest of the schedule for the Grizzlies, and there are some really tough games. And obviously, if you are in the tank and want them to lose as many games as possible, that bodes well. But it will continue to probably look like what it looked like last night.
You could be really good in face of a lot of L's with the stretch the Grizzlies have the rest of the way, but with this team, it's going to be rough and just have to soldier through and get to ping pong ball night.
Yeah, and it's just kind of getting through, like you said, to the end of the season and trying to see what you have on this team and how they can if they can play themselves into a spot for next season. You look at last night. Gigi Jackson had the 26 points, 9 for 14 from the field. Ty Jerome, continues to do some really nice things with 17 points. Tyler Burton, who's on his second two-way, a guy that I loved out of Richmond before he transferred to Villanova. Entered the draft, took his name out of the draft, went to Villanova, kind of struggled there. Has been with the hustle for at least this season. He had 20 points, looked good. Walter Clayton was 16. But we know these are guys that, especially those last two I mentioned, guys that you're going to see kind of deeper on the bench anywhere, and especially with the Grizzlies. Tyler Burton won't be around much longer as he's on his final 10-day. But you're starting to see some of these guys that in a regular year you wouldn't see at all. Maybe you could bring them back on a cheaper deal, maybe be able to get some deals for the end of your rotation, maybe bring in some other pieces through free agency.
7 home games remain. The next 6 will all be at home. Of the 7 home games that remain, the next 6 in a row will be at FedEx Forum, San Antonio, Houston, the Bulls, Phoenix, the Knicks, and Toronto. And there aren't a lot of wins in there, but you can go see a lot of these other stars that are going to play deep into May, and hope for the future for the Grizzlies with what we hope will come out of this draft and some really good players. What a year to be in this condition. Just think if this was a lean draft and you couldn't get exponentially better.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be the all-out tank and try to go and get that franchise-changing player this year. There's already a lot of talk about next year's draft, and it's going to be relatively weak. You had the draft a couple years ago that was pretty weak when Risha Shea went number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt like these last couple of drafts have been really good, and this was one that you felt like you wanted to be high in. And you already knew it before the season started that teams were going to start lining up. We didn't know the Grizzlies were going to be in this spot, but everyone was saying teams are going to start lining up early this year to try to get one of those top picks, just like last year with Cooper Flagg. And so, it started early, and the way the Grizzlies, the rest of the season lays out for them, especially at the end of the season, like you mentioned, all these home games coming up, you end the season, with 4 of your last 5 on the road. So it's going to be tough, and we'll see how it all falls out with the ping pong balls and where the Grizzlies ultimately pick with the NBA draft.
I don't think he will be the player the Grizzlies want, and I think he'll be long gone even for that third pick. Something looks like it's going to be at the top of the second round. Will be at the top of the second round, won't be in the first round. But Tyler Tanner showed me a lot. He's small, and I don't think there's a lot of. And remember when we were visiting with Mark Wise, and I brought up his theorem on no small players. He said unless you're Tyler Tanner,
Yeah, he's really.
But I think he's too small for the NBA, though.
Yeah, I
but
think
a good
so.
player, tough.
He really is.
Proud player. How he handled in defeat that the darn too big a ball to go through the bucket.
Yeah, no, and the inflate gate.
If the ball's too big to go through the basket, why do they go through other parts of the game? Why didn't it just with that heat?
Well, they're saying with the bounce. That was the bounce that messed him up. The direction of that bounce, if it was a regularly inflated ball, it would have just hit backboard and gone straight in. That the inflated, it hit the backboard, hit the rim.
Kind of like a booby-trapped prize at State Fair.
Yeah, and then it hit the back of the rim and then came ricocheting out. So that's what the theory of the inflate gate is.
Well, it went down and out.
Again, no, it certainly did. But no, he's a really good player. Obviously, the size is a concern.
He's not 6 foot.
No. I was just about to say that. Listed at 6 foot, he's nowhere near 6 foot. He is a tiny guy, but he's a ball player. I mean, he can really go, and showed it all year for Vanderbilt. Was stayed relatively healthy all season for Vanderbilt when they had a handful of big time injuries. And
are you at Tankathon?
Really, I am at Tankathon.
How deep is this draft? I can answer that question. I ask it, I can answer it.
Mm-hmm.
Joshua Jefferson, 24.
Yeah. No, it's a very deep draft. I mean, this first round is gonna be really good. And we talked about it yesterday with that second round pick that the Grizzlies have, and some of these other second round picks. Now, I don't think I was talking about this with somebody else. Tankathon's player rankings was updated 19 days ago, so it's been a while since they've updated it, and I just don't think it's very good in terms of mock drafts and player rankings compared to some other places.
Where's your go-to?
I don't really have a go-to in terms of mock drafts. Like, I'll just kind of go to the ESPNs or whatever. Athletic usually has a pretty
anything
good
but NBA Draft Net.
Yeah, no, I certainly don't go there. But I don't know. Tankathon just does a great job with kind of keeping up with the tank and kind of knowing where everything is, and it's fun to do the lottery sim. But
I'm just seeing that fine print about 19 days ago.
I don't love their player rankings all the time. Not to say that I don't like the top of this draft, because I don't know. I would probably change a couple things in the top 10.
But you're with Team DeMichael. You swing big. You Peterson if he's there.
I mean, if Peterson, if you're outside,
if the Grizzlies are 2 and he didn't go 1, do you take him?
I mean, it's a much different conversation there. I think yesterday when we were talking, the kind of way I was going is if he fell to you, like if you're just saying the Grizzlies are at 5, 6, 7, and people are just passing on him because they're terrified, and he's just sitting there. Oh my gosh, yeah, you take him. If you're at 4 or you're at 3, probably take him. But top 2. 1, I'm taking AJ DeBonza. If the Grizzlies have the number 1 pick, I'm taking AJ DeBonza. 2, I could go all night about Cam Boozer or Darren Peterson. I think 3, I'd probably take Peterson. Caleb Wilson's good. After that, I would probably take him just because I think I am not as worried about this stuff right now. That could change by draft night. I am not as worried as other people are about his issues.
Are we sure Krivas will return next year, or will be in the draft, or will he return to Arizona?
That's a good question. I really don't know.
With that second round pick, if you've gone guards and wing players, having him in that second round to get a big body, a bruiser, just in case, for insurance and other things with Edie.
Yeah, no, I would love it. It's good. I really have no idea. I mean, you just go up and down. Again, looking at Tankathon, you go up and down some of these guys in the second round. There are a lot of guys I would be really surprised if they stay in the draft, because I think they can go back and kind of improve their draft spot.
Who we won't go into the draft? Mom Silovich at Iowa State. We don't want to see him opening night at the Pentagon in South Dakota.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, I want to see him go to the NBA draft. But the biggest one for me is Elijah Arenas. Elijah Arenas does not need to go in the draft. If Elijah Arenas goes back to college, whether it's USC or somewhere else, that guy could be a top 5 pick next year. He could be in the conversation for a top 3 pick next year. He's that good. He just, missed half a season with an ACL. If he could have a full year, I think he.
Don't you just know he's going to be high maintenance?
Oh, for sure. I'd take him. I think he's look, if you get to a position where you're the Grizzlies and you've got a second round pick and you're the first pick in the second round, and for whatever reason Elijah Arenas is in the draft, I'm taking him, and I'm running, and I'm not looking back. I would be shocked if he enters the draft, though. So, but he's going to be a player. That guy can play. He's going to be way better than Pops. And I think, honestly, in terms of talent, I think better than a lot of guys in this first round. But we'll see what he ultimately decides to do.
Listen up, Mid-South, Landers Ford in Collierville. They say make no payments for 90 days. That's right. During Ford Truck Month, your number one Ford dealer, that's Landers Ford in Collierville, they give you payment relief. New Ford F-150, 0% APR financing for 60 months. Zero down payment, zero payments for 90 days. I've gotten your attention, haven't I? New F-150, 0% APR financing for 60 months, zero down payments, and zero payments for 90 days. Get started now with their Landers Easy Pass at LandersFordMemphis.com. Shop one of the largest selections of new Fords before they're sold out. It's only once a year, so you got to act now. 0% APR, zero down payment, zero payments for 90 days. You heard it here first. There's zero to pay to drive today or first thing tomorrow morning. Still time today. Give them a call to schedule your test drive at Landers Ford in Collierville. If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
There was a mock draft I saw that was updated earlier today. I think it was over at Bleacher Report. Jonathan Wasserman updated his mock draft for the Grizzlies. He had them taking Kingston Fleming with the first-round pick, Kareem Lopez with the second pick, and Isaiah Evans with the second-round pick.
Okay, now with Fleming, it's a little bit like a mint.
Mm-hmm.
When he gets out of that 19, 20-year-old body, and I can see 23 and 24 and 25, if you love him now, you're really going to love him then.
Yeah, no, I would really like Kingston. He's obviously one of those guards that I would be very happy with. Isaiah Evans, if you can get him in the second round, I think that would be a really nice piece. And then Kareem Lopez is kind of the one guy that's going to be a first-round guy that not many people know about because he's really the only guy not playing college basketball, playing over in Australia, but from Mexico. So he could be a very interesting prospect, 6'8", about 220. But we'll see. Obviously, we'll get more and more mock drafts as we get closer to the end of the season. But let's go ahead, get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Did you miss your favorite Sports 56 show? No! Check out the podcast, broken down hourly at sports56whbq.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe. Never miss any Sports 56 show again with our podcasts available daily from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Listen up, Mid-South. Landers Ford in Collierville says make no payments for 90 days. That's right. During Ford Truck Month, your number one Ford dealer gives you payment relief. New Ford F-150, 0% APR financing for 60 months. Zero down payments. Zero payments for 90 days. Are you listening? New F-150s, 0% APR financing for 60 months. Zero down payments. Zero payments for 90 days. Get started now with our Landers Easy Pass at LandersFordMemphis.com. Shop one of the largest selections of new Fords before they're sold. It's only once a year. Act now. 0% APR. Zero down payment. Zero payments for 90 days. There's zero to pay to drive today. Landers Ford in Colliersville. If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2025 Total New Vehicle Retail Sales Report, Memphis Market. With approved credit from Ford Credit. Minimum monthly payment of $1,667 per 1,000 finance. Regardless of down payment, interest accrues from inception. Example, 2025 Ford F-150 Lariat. VIN number 1FTFW5L8XSFB43528. MSRP $71,675. Ford bonus cash $1,000. Sale price $70,675. Based on 0% APR financing for 60 months. Price, tax, title, and $695 processing fee. See dealer for complete details. Offer ends 4/2/26.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs. 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays. Daily specials and online ordering. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily specials and weekend music at the Owner's Box.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your number one source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at TriumphAutoSales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Air. We breathe it naturally. Simple, right? Not so fast. The air you breathe could be hazardous to your health. Don't guess. Be sure with a phone call to the Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold assessor in the Mid-South. Call the Memphis Mold Inspector to check the air quality inside your home and office. Protect babies, pets, new homes, old homes, employees, friends, loved ones, and you. Just call 901-292-7788 for clean air and peace of mind. 901-292-7788 for the Memphis Mold Inspector.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy. Hello, Big Brown.
It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
What up, big guy? I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
So my big number today is the number 11. It is an NBA big number, and it has to do, we've talked a lot about the Grizzlies, the tanking Grizzlies. It has to do with another tanking team. It is the Sacramento Kings, and let me tell you something, Brett. This Kings team is fun to watch. I found myself many nights, obviously, because they're out there on the West Coast, watching them late into the night. They've got Precious Achiuwa out there. They've got Dylan Cardwell out there, the former Auburn forward. I mean, they've got some nice pieces. They also have Maxime Reynaud, who played at Stanford in college, now with the Kings. Over the month of March, in 11 games so far, Maxime Reynaud is averaging 19.2 points per game on 63.2% shooting in 11 games this month of March. The last rookie to average 19 points per game and shoot at least 60% from the field in a month with 10 or more games played was all the way back January 1993. Big Shaquille O'Neal. So Maxime Reynaud, next Shaquille O'Neal. I mean,
Shaq's rookie year.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So people should be. I don't think they should be as excited or that excited because this is a very much a tanking team, and nobody on opening day thought Maxime Reynaud was going to play a lot of minutes.
Ever be mentioned with Shaq.
Exactly, but here we are, and it's been a good month for him. And this Kings team, they've been a sneaky, fun team to watch.
My big number is 53, and a tradition unlike any other, kind of like another one I'm going to have later in the week when I have my World Series pick. I never forget this date. 53 years ago today, national semifinals, the arena, the Checker Dome, St. Louis, Missouri, on NBC. I think about a 12:30 game, first game of the day. The Memphis Tigers over Providence and Ernie DeGregorio and Kevin Stakem and Bad News Barnes. That was Larry Finch and Ronnie Robinson and Larry Keenan and Billy Buford and freshman Bill Cook from White Station, or as Kurt Gowdy said, the smooth freshman from White Station in Memphis, Billy Cook. It was great to watch. Set up Monday night to play UCLA, and on Thursday, when it's the 26th and the 53rd anniversary of that, I'll have something related to that. I do every year. 10-year-old Brett really enjoyed that day.
Of course. I mean, it's good reason to enjoy that date, and I'm glad you bring it up.
And that launched Tiger basketball really the year before in the goofy game in the playoff game against Louisville, but 72 and 73. Yeah, the Tigers go way back with Win Wilfong and Gene Wilfong and great players in the 50s and even good teams in the 60s. But what we know now got launched out of that Gene Bartow team in 73.
Yeah, absolutely. And had some really good teams since. But you're right, that was the start of it and kind of put them on the map in a sense.
And a good little guard named Billy Laurie.
Right. That's exactly right. Good little guard. And
53 years later, going well for him.
Going really well, and doesn't have much to do with dribbling a basketball, which is nice. So
thank goodness for Bud and Sam.
Hey, some things they just work well, and that worked well for them. So that is
easier
really
to marry it than to make it.
No kidding. That is an understatement to say the least. But yeah, I'm really excited. We've talked a lot about these matchups that we're going to see Thursday and Friday. I'm excited. Kind of hate we get to this point of the week where it's kind of like we're just waiting for that Thursday, Friday.
Wait a second, you're waiting? Don't we have NIT and Crown tonight?
We don't have Crown. Crown doesn't start for another 7 days, I think.
Crown is not. It's still
April 1st.
Hadn't started.
April 1st.
That's the April Fool's joke. They're really not
that's
playing
the thing.
that day.
Exactly. I think this is all just a ruse on everybody.
Shamockery.
Yeah, it's just we're going to start on April 1st. Everyone's going to tune in for it. Nobody's going to tune in for it.
Biggest sports April Fools since Sports Illustrated.
We're not playing this tournament.
Sid Finch.
They should. Because the Crown, and Brett, you know me, the more games, the better. I'll watch whatever. I'm a big proponent of the CBI. The Crown is a joke. I mean, it's ridiculous. We're seeing like 500 teams go out there. Baylor's out there playing. Minnesota, Colorado. Nobody wants to see these teams play. Nobody's going to watch. Don't do it. This should be the last year of the Crown.
I don't know if they did it more than 1 year, but in the 80s, the NIT was over, and everybody knew it. Boy, the last defenders of the NIT. I love encountering them. But even tried using the red, white, and blue ball, the ABA ball, in some games in the NIT in the 80s.
Interesting.
For something different. It didn't work. Nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted it.
Well, we do have an American matchup tonight, Brett, that I'm very excited about. Oh, my gosh. Wichita State and Tulsa in the NIT semifinals. I mean, if that doesn't get you going, Brett.
Wasn't that the semifinals of the American?
Brett, I can't really remember.
Can't.
I wasn't really locked into the American semifinals.
It was a question for him, though.
I'll be very honest with you, but maybe I think it was. The more I'm thinking about it, I think it was. But don't hold me to that because I can't.
What day was the American semifinals?
It was Saturday.
The 14th. It was Tulsa and Wichita State.
All right. So yes.
81-68, we Shockers.
All right. So maybe they do it again. They're underdogs tonight. They're about a 4.5-point dog tonight in Tulsa against the mighty Hurricanes. So,
tickets available?
Tickets available, I believe.
Sections available?
I think so. But I think
whole parking lots available.
I think Mills was trying to make a plea to the governor to tell businesses in Wichita to close early so that they could get on the road and get to Tulsa. So I don't know. Maybe.
Please tell me the governor of Kansas has got more important things to do. Please.
I hope so, but I don't know.
He's got the governor's number.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. And it was after posting. He was like, I think they should governor whoever, we need to shut down everything. It's not that far of a drive. And I was like, okay, maybe.
Who are those NIT advocates?
Yeah, no, I mean, no kidding. And then you got
they try, don't they?
Well, they do. God bless them. St. Joe's in New Mexico in the second game tonight.
Okay.
Can I interest you in either? Here's the question, Brett. Here's the question. No, don't give me no just quite yet. Here's the question. If I'm offering you a TV that only has 2 channels tonight, one is on TGL and one is on NIT, which one are you watching? You have to watch one. You can't say you're not watching anything.
TGL, because I'll get Masters talk.
Okay, all right, that's a good answer. That is a much better answer than I thought I was gonna get for that. But I think it would be hard to get you to watch either.
And I'm close to basketball now. I'm close. I got it. I got a little left in me.
Hey, you got a couple more rounds left in you. But that's about it. But let's go ahead and wrap up this hour. When we return, we're gonna talk a whole bunch of NFL. We're getting closer to the NFL draft. When we return, it's Bo Marchand.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, there's some things about the Rendezvous I want to talk about. For example, we make it really easy to park. We have valet parking right at Monroe Street in our alley. We also want to make it easy for people to get to-go orders. You can now park in our alley right at our front door and put your flashers on. People also forget that we take reservations for 6 or more. And we have a wonderful party room upstairs that can accommodate people for rehearsal dinners, birthday parties, reunions, graduations. Our rooms seat between 25 and 275 people. And everything at the Rendezvous can be packed to go. Brett, we also do catering. See our menu online, and we can even deliver for groups of 15 or more. So if you have any questions, always feel free to call us at the Rendezvous because we answer our phone ourselves. You'll never hear, please listen carefully for our menu has changed. Press 1 for reservations, press 2 for hours, press 3 for catering, or if you know your party's 9-digit extension number and the first 3 letters of their mother's maiden name, dial it now. Come see us at the Rendezvous.
Since 1948, the Rendezvous.
It's a new year, and it's the first new sale at Family Leisure. It's the floor model sale happening now. Family Leisure has deep, like diving deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, even those cold plunges. How deep are these discounts? I'm not allowed to say. So if you've been putting off getting a new spa, then right now is the best time to buy. Here's one price I can let loose. You can get a spa as low as $99 a month. Plus, you can get over $1,000 in upgrades with every spa purchased. One other special deal, you can get an $8,000 spa for only $159 a month. And you know what? Family Leisure is going to throw in some LED lights and waterfalls on most models. Rooms got to be made, and so do the deals at Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com. If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Humdinger's Taco Tuesday. Enjoy crunchy slaw, grilled fish, and chicken, and the best taco sauce in town. $2 tacos all day. The best deal in town.
This traffic report is brought to you by Millington Weight Loss. For more information, call 901-436-0272.
Sports 56 Traffic.
Good afternoon. Heavy traffic pretty much on schedule here on 240 eastbound from Mill Branch out to 385 as you get on the Bill Morris Parkway. That's building pretty good out towards the Collierville area. South of Memphis, well, we've had to put up with some aggravating radar earlier on 55 down through parts of DeSoto County. St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital helping kids with cancer. Please log on to stjude.org if you can help these kids. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with John Harden, weekdays from 11 to 1. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our third and final hour on this Tuesday afternoon. Reminder, we're out a little bit early this afternoon as Ole Miss baseball, they're in town to play the Memphis Tigers. First pitch is scheduled for 6 o'clock, so we'll have that pregame show at 5:30. So it'll be a little shorter with Bo Marchant, but let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and talk some NFL with Bo Marchant.
National Football League talk every Tuesday with Bo Marchant, covering the NFL Draft at collegetopro.com and the NFL Draft Bible, covering the Steelers for Sports Illustrated, living and running in Eastern Ohio, and on Twitter X at Bo Marchant. Here's Bo with Bryant and Brett.
Bo Marchant joins us now like he always does to talk the NFL. Bo, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get to, but man, Joe Flacco out here just getting deal after deal, year after year, 41 years old, and he today agreed on a 1-year deal with the Cincinnati Bengals. He still got enough in the tank. Now, at Cincinnati, as unfortunate as it is, you do have to be ready if you are Joe Flacco, because the other Joe in Cincinnati has been prone to injuries. What did you make of that deal earlier today?
Yeah, well, it wasn't a shock, but I think just because we know Flacco and his age and his ability to, literally play almost in every team in AFC North as his career has progressed, it was a nice sign. And for the Bengals, I think it's a good security move. Unfortunately, one of the most elite players in the National Football League, and Joe Burrow, has unfortunately not been able to, remain healthy for the 17-game schedule. So if you're the Bengals, you kind of take caution to the wind, I guess, and say, hey, at least we need a guy that we know in a pinch, and maybe for a longer period of time, they bring him in. But props to Flacco for resurrecting that career. A couple years ago when he went to Cleveland in the middle of the season, and they went on the Cinderella ride to the playoffs, and then got destroyed by the Texans. But nonetheless, since that moment, he's been that old veteran what teams really covet having on their roster.
Mm-hmm.
He threw for 470. 470 against the Bears last year.
Yeah, that's an impressive number. I mean, when you think of that number, and do you know, like, some of the all-time games? I mean, how many are,
that's only about 40 off Norm Van Brocklin's single-game record. That's right.
Yeah, so I mean that just shows you the classic game that was. That that's people throw for 300. They do that. But when you're taking them 450s, that 400 plateau, it's a different animal. And again, Delaware. It's what, Delaware State.
Started at Michigan, then at Delaware, and I think all this is helping his Hall of Fame vote. Not first year, not first ballot. It could be way down the road. He could be as old as Norm Van Brocklin's record by the time he gets in, but I think it has helped him.
I think it's helped him, and kind of the same subject but different. I think Phillip Rivers coming back for a few games last year, and he would have been eligible in this upcoming class. I think that hurts him because now he has to wait another 5, I believe. So
yeah, it does.
I think that hurts a guy like Phillip Rivers because, out of sight, out of mind. And as we've come to learn, I mean, quarterbacks, for one, are the predominant inductee. They're the prominent guy on the team, and their numbers are also ludicrous to the players that we saw prior to them coming into the league.
Mm-hmm.
If you know as well as anybody, back in the day you threw for 28,000 yards. You were a surefire Hall of Famer. Now, you got some of these guys have 28,000 yards in 5 seasons. It's this 60. It's just the way the passing game has blown up. It's hard to measure who's really deserving of the Hall of Fame. But Flacco has a Super Bowl ring and he has the stats. So I think those are two hard things to argue against if you're the Hall of Fame committee. But as we've learned, Bill Belichick isn't worthy of a first-round ballot. So I guess a lot remains to be seen.
I can't explain all that. You're right about. I'm going to go to around 28,000. I mean, you just described perfectly, Bo. Lenny Dawson. He's in the Hall of Fame. He should be at 28,711. Joe Namath, 27,663.
Wow. Yeah. And if you add their totals together, they're below some of the guys that, what Brady have, 65? Breeze, 70, I don't know, these guys.
Brady's at 89,000.
Brady,
89.
That's crazy. So Brady possibly has more passing yards by himself than Namath, Bradshaw, Dawson, Fran Tarkenton, Peyton Manning.
Stabler.
Not Peyton Manning, but Stabler. I mean, it's crazy. But again, it was a different time. And you probably go vice versa, where the majority of running backs that are over 10,000 yards I know there's guys in today's age that have made that mark, but, back in the day that, chasing Jim Brown's number of, that 13,000 mark, that was, I always like to say that was the home run record to me, people chasing down Brown's record.
It was. Bo, we texted earlier today. I think right now, you tell me, is now one of the hardest times for mock bracketers, because it's all, except for Fernando Mendoza at 1, it's all over the place now. We need the codifying to happen.
Well, this is what makes it fun, because you go on a hunch and a hinge. And I did one Steelers mock draft, and I put in the article, if you want, every single week I could provide a different first-round pick. Just a little bit of an educated guess, if you will, and some stats, and you could say, okay, yeah, I believe they are going to take this guy in this round. It's always fun. I like the unknown more than the known, and I think just even at starting at number 2 with the Jets, Arvell Reese is the popular name there, but, we really don't know, and we don't know what other teams covet. I saw one of the mocks where, they had a team trading up for Jeremiah Love, and I think the running back position in Jeremiah Love is intriguing. I think if a team really gets excited for him, maybe somebody jockeys up to, maybe leapfrog. And I also see the tea leaves of, I think the Chiefs and the Saints were 2 teams when this process started. You're like, okay, they're sitting at 8 and 9. They could possibly, get Love at that point. But as Love's stock started to rise and the free agency hits, whoa, what do we see? We see the Chiefs sign Kenneth Walker, and we see the Saints sign Travis Etienne. So I think that's kind of the renaissance of, the Love stock rising, and a couple of teams free agency kind of knowing that, we're not going to move up, and we're probably not going to likely get him at 8 or 9. And I think when this first started, I think that was a realistic idea that, we probably every mock draft you read, the Chiefs were getting Jeremiah Love, the Chiefs were getting Jeremiah Love, and et cetera, repeatedly. But now as stock rises, teams have to take different avenues. And you guys, Tennessee, I love the fit. I would be disappointed if they don't go that route. Even today, I was watching tape of the one of the Miami edge rushers, and they were playing Notre Dame, and Metasor. And anyways, watching him, and you're watching him, and then you see the play go, and then you see that number 4 guy for Notre Dame just blew past him in the spin move, and the guy's laying on the ground. But then you're like, it's Jeremiah Love. He makes everybody look foolish. And in that
we
moment,
talked about that last week, Bo. I'm telling you, for that young quarterback, I know everybody. Let's build a offensive line in front of them. Almost as important having that guy for blitz pickup.
Yeah, and nobody does it better. I mean, at least in this. I mean, watch this kid pick up the blitz. It's just you could just watch that and be, look at the Chiefs. They talked about Mahomes and why this offense isn't functional, and they had the lack of the running game. This is Patrick Mahomes, arguably the best player of the last decade, bar none. And they're saying he needs a running game. So why wouldn't Cam Ward need a running game with an elite guy like Jeremiah Love? So that's where it makes sense to me. You got a first-round pick, overall pick, and Ward. I just think the benefit of having him, you could say it's like an Aikman and Emmett. You got Aikman, and then you're adding this back where you believe on today.
I would take Larry Allen and Eric Williams if they came strolling through.
They
Mark
help. You need it all. Yeah, you need it all.
Newton,
like
2 and
you
8.
need those guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kevin Grogan. Wow, what a team.
Yeah.
Bo, talking about this draft, and obviously here in Memphis, we talk a lot about the Grizzlies and the draft that's coming up this year. Everyone's talking about could be the best draft since 2003. And of course, me, when we get closer to the NFL draft, I'll get very excited about who the Cowboys are going to take, and next Hall of Famer, you bet on it. But how would you describe the first round of this draft? Maybe even not the entire first round, the top 10 of this draft. How would you describe what the top 10 of this draft looks like for the NFL draft?
Oh, how would I think a lot of boom or bust. I think that's the way I would describe it. I'm still not convinced of Arvell Reese, and you're talking about a guy that could be the second pick of the draft. And, and this, I guess I'll put this into a collective. we all know Ohio State's a powerhouse. You got Alvaro Reese, who went to the Combine, blew it away. Caleb Downs went down and blew it away. And then you had Sonny Styles blew it away. How didn't they win the national championship? That's, you have a collective of elite athletes, but what did they do as a collective? And that's where, and I know that might not be, something you can translate to, them being successful in the NFL, but I'm just thinking these guys were arguably, they're going to be top 10 prospects all in the same defense. How did they lose 2 games? How did they not beat Indiana?
The half full comeback to that is, they lost to the number 1 overall pick in Fernando Mendoza, and then in the college football playoffs, not as much Ohio State losing that game on offense, but they did play those 2 edge guys for the U, Bain and Messidor, and then when Miami had the ball, they faced those 2 offensive linemen that are going to get drafted.
Yeah, and I love the Miami guy. See, and that's where my mind gets tricky on me because I love Reuben Bain. I think one of the best defenders, and I would take Reuben Bain over Arvell Reese every day. Doesn't mean I'm right, but that's the conundrum that I'm in where I'm watching these guys. But maybe boom and bust was even maybe too much of a. But I just think with Reese and Sonny Styles, just with the hype of those guys, possibly both of them guys being top 5 guys, I'm all in on that. And then you get down to the bottom. I love Delane, Mansour Delane out of LSU. I do believe he'll be a top 10 guy. And and then I think I don't know. We got the receivers. I tell you who I watched today. I actually watched like Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M.
Yep.
I mean, he would just, when I turned him on, it just popped. I mean, we're not saying anything that we know who he is, but when you really start watching and breaking down, okay, Carnell Tate, McCollum,
and watch how Miami defended him in that college football playoff game at College Station.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's impressive. Miami, that was such a good football team, well coached.
It really was.
And Cristobal, when he was when they beat Pitt, I went into their press conference, and that was my first time. But you get that brief impression of a coach, and I was blown away just by the way he carried himself and his responses, and how I think he even did it prior to them playing Indiana when he was speaking to the team, as they were getting their trophy to go play in a national championship. His mindset of he was still coaching those guys on the field as they were celebrating, like we're not done yet. I admired him, and I think that's part of the reason why you see the turnaround at Indiana and Miami. It's a culture, and these guys have created a culture. Now, Indiana's an outlier because, you got Fernando Mendoza. Can they repeat this at the highest level in college football? That remains to be seen. But they got it done once. And even getting it done once in a basketball powerhouse in Indiana, I know they're not that now, but we know their legacy are with the Hoosiers and Bobby Knight. But nonetheless, for, Indiana to hoist that, national championship as a football team, that's something that I know the fan base. And being at the Combine and those Indiana fans, I mean, there wasn't a point where they just said any Indiana player and that crowd went berserk.
Yeah, the movie was not Boilermakers.
No, it was not. That's a good one.
That is a really good point. Well, it's going to be fun to see what happens as we get closer to this NFL draft, who emerges, who ends up being in that top 10. But, Bo, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll do it again next Tuesday.
Yep, stay safe, gentlemen. Enjoy the tournament.
Thanks, Bo.
Thank you, Bo. We will. Bo Marchant with us on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, talking all things NFL and the draft as we're getting closer and closer to that draft. But we're going to have big NFL draft and then bigger NBA draft for us just back to back. That will be a lot of fun. Great news, All-Star Chevy right there in Olive Branch. They're having their huge truck month sale right now. Supplier prices for everyone. Save $1,000. Nobody with more Silverados than at All-Star. Take Highway 78 into Mississippi and stop right there at Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there, and you can drive home in a new Equinox, Trailblazer, Trax, Blazer, or go big in a new Silverado HD. No payments for 90 days. You're going to love no payments all the way through spring into summer, close to starting back to school in the fall, and financing as low as 1.9. Your good credit deserves it. And Drew DePriest and his team, they deliver on it. They deliver for military and first responders all the time. Instant extra $500 bonus. Test drive one of All-Star Chevy's hottest, barely driven, certified Chevys or any pre-owned you will find in the same place at the same time anywhere in our area. Suburbans, Tahoes, a Chevy Express passenger van, ton of Silverados. Bring any vehicle you want to sell to All-Star and Olive Branch, and you'll get the best deal, most money back for it first thing tomorrow morning. Don't miss the truck month sale going on now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. For more information, go to allstarautogroup.com.
I'll be honest, Brett. Yesterday, I saw a tweet, and it was somebody saying a month from now, or maybe it was earlier today. It was like a month from now, we'll be the NFL draft. We're in the middle of the NFL draft, and I was like, oh my gosh. Only a month away from the NFL draft. I think it's because of where the Grizzlies are. I'm more tuned in with kind of NBA
I know
draft.
I am.
It kind of hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, we're only a month away, and I feel like I haven't even thought a second about the upcoming NFL draft.
It's Grizzlies. Everything in this is local. It's Grizzlies, and then the Acuff connection. Not 1 year, but we've really watched him blossom all year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we definitely have, and so I think a lot of things kind of go into it, like you said. And I'll be honest, I don't know, I
need a little more quarterback in my NFL draft than this one has in the first round.
And that's why I asked him about kind of what he made of this top 10 first round, because it doesn't seem like there's kind of that group.
I think it's just a helper draft.
Yeah,
I don't think there's the move the earth guy.
I think there's good players. I don't see any just like franchise changing type of players.
You scared of Mendoza? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. I think he'll be
fine. Well, there's stories out there, people starting to get that way, and I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't either. I know, I know today was kind of weird over at ESPN. I didn't see any of it, but I know like Orlovsky was, throwing out there, and then they had the connection with his age. I don't know. I didn't watch any of it, but I heard it was it got weird.
Look, I like Ty Simpson, but at any point last year, did you think Ty Simpson was better than Fernando Mendoza?
No, not at all.
No,
not at all. So yeah, but hey, people have motives. They do things for reasons, and hey, whatever. It didn't really bother me, but I saw that it was big news today around the media landscape. But reminder, we're out a little bit early this afternoon. Ole Miss baseball, they're in town, take on Memphis Tigers. We are the home of the Ole Miss Rebels, so we'll have that game broadcasted from the Ole Miss perspective. We'll have full pregame, post-game, and game coverage for tonight's matchup against the Tigers starting at 5:30. So we're going to get to an early Moe's crunch time, but before we do that, let me remind you about Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984. They've got a talented team that's ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out those brand new models like the Range Rover Sport, the Range Rover Velar, and the Defender. Test drive that Range Rover Sport where luxury meets performance. Perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to JaguarBluffCity.com, but head out there, test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince for Bluff City Jaguar. Well, let's go ahead and get to Moe's Crunch Time.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight?
We're all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Crunch time between the hedges.
The ball game is over, and Memphis has its first win in 16 tries, its first win ever against its fierce in-state rival Tennessee.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Well, Crunch Time's always brought to you by Moe's, but it's Tuesday. That means it's brought to you today by Humdinger's Taco Tuesday. Enjoy crunchy slaw, grilled fish and chicken, and the best taco sauce in town. $2 tacos all day. It is by far the best deal in town. Well, Brett, this is some news that I saw this afternoon. I don't think it ever really connected to me until a couple of minutes ago when I actually realized what happened and the hire that they made. But USF, we know they need to go out there and hire a basketball coach on the men's side. I did not know that they had to go and hire a women's basketball coach on the other side, but it's been reported today that they have gone out and hired Alabama's sitting head coach, Christy Curry, to be their next coach. So USF going out there and taking Alabama's women's head coach.
Who do you think they are?
I have no idea, because I thought the whole time, I saw that earlier today, and I was like, oh, they took an Alabama assistant, good for them, I'm sure she's fine. And then I saw someone else and was like, I know, like I don't know much about women's basketball, but this seems pretty significant, and I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't keep up with women's basketball as much as the men's side, but I would say it's pretty significant to go out there and get an SEC coach to replace. So I don't know the full story, but at least the way it's reported.
I thought he'd be in an SEC right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on, but it sounds like a pretty good hire for USF, and if it means anything for what they're going to do on the men's side, they're going to make a great hire for their next men's basketball coach.
What I learned in this pay-to-play, big-money college sports culture world we live in, where every day feels like college sports could come crashing down and collapse if you listen to some of the naysayers, but here's why it won't. Look at the TV ratings. The TV ratings for college basketball all last weekend, even into Dayton on Thursday and Friday, daytime, nighttime, anytime. College football ratings the same way. As long as the networks can make that kind of money off of college, they're going to keep it propped up in some fashion.
Yeah.
There's going to be the pretense of this is college sports.
Absolutely. No, there absolutely will be, and we talk about those ratings all the time. They are just so impressive. What I could have done without, it is the 65-game rule with the NBA, and really what it's going to mean for Cade Cunningham this season, as it does not look like with this collapsed lung that he's going to meet that 65-game threshold. Now today, the NBA PA is coming out here and saying you got to abolish the 65-game rule, which I am definitely in favor for. I know why they put it.
I want to up
kind
it.
Of the.
I want to take a big giant step backwards.
You got to play more games to go and win those awards. But obviously, the Players Association going out there and saying we got to drop this, because it's not just Cade Cunningham that's affected. Other players that thought they were going to be affected, able to come back, but it has made it very weird for some of these guys.
And not major, but I could do without kind of the slow movement on the roster retention story for the Tigers. We talked about it. I want to see more definition from that.
Definitely. And who knows? That could be going on behind the scenes and just hadn't been made public. One of those that could, you don't really know how it's being played. Where are you beaming tonight?
Denver at Phoenix. Still can't believe Denver lost last week here to the Grizzlies.
No, it is a good point. Brett, I'm looking at the big cat on the TV. Tiger Woods at 6 o'clock tonight.
I may have to watch it.
TGL. You got to watch it. You got to get a look at the big cat. You do. I mean, he's your guy. So it's going to be a fun night of sports. A lot of NBA tonight.
On Channel 5.
That's exactly right. NBC night for the NBA. We've also got baseball, and we're going to get you there right here in a second with Ole Miss pregame as they're here in Memphis to take on the Tigers. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.